This goes hard on the Monday scorecard. Turn your bars to a bird and then bogeys to a par. With Travis Fulton and the Monday scorecard.
Welcome to the Scorecard, presented by Encore Golf. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. Of course, no studio. 2 weeks off, but we're back at it now. Set up shop here in my man cave. Some of you recognize this from the Stripe Show podcast, where I do a lot of my podcasts. And of course, the Stripe Show is back for season 2, starting this week with Arron Oberholser and George Gank. It's got a great lineup coming for you in the month of April. Of course, the president, April 30th now, quarantined at home, social distancing. I'm doing the very best that I can. I'll be the first to admit I am not wired for being quarantined. You can see here I'm trying to grow this out a little bit. It's going okay. A little too much gray coming out here in the sides, but I'm doing the best I can, teaching a few lessons, social distancing. Hit me up if you want some online lessons. Got some good programs out there, including strokes gained, short game. You buy that, I'll give you a free voucher for my home edition program as well. No professional golf to react to here this week with the scorecard. So we're going to have some fun, right? There's a lot of instruction out there. Of course, instructors are issuing a lot of tips, but players are as well. So this is the fastest 9 holes in golf. We're going to get right to it here. Some cool stuff out there that I want you to see in the way of instruction, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it as well. Kicking us off here, GG himself, George Gank, is one of the hottest instructors in the game. He's got all kinds of instruction videos out there. But he had one here on posture and a couple interesting things that I want you to pay attention to. Check this out.
As I come over here and it's 90 degrees and I tell somebody to turn as much as they can only turn, most people, about 45. And so what do people who are too bent over to exaggerate? They stand up. Now your coach says your shoulders are too flat. So you stay over here. What kind of shot you think you're going to get from here? You're going to stand right up. You're going to throw your angles. And now all of a sudden it's bad. But the fact is, until you understand, I'm not doing this, I'm standing up, rounding from here to here. Now I can finish my turn. So as soon as you realize that, anytime that you want to get to the ball and you go into a lot of hip flexion, it's very hard to even turn from here.
So it's interesting, for me in my instruction, when I first got into it 20 years ago, that hip hinge, right? Really pushing the hips out, getting the belt buckle, if this is your belt buckle, to turn down, right? And I think, in looking back over the years, and you look at the benefits of that, right? You want to have good posture, but you can kind of lock yourself out too much, right? You can really get that belt buckle to turn down and get that dish in the lower back, and then it's hard to turn because you get too far over it. So that happy medium, it's called anterior versus posterior tilt. If you were to stand up, something like this, and then really, kind of tilt your pelvis back, you'll see that dish right here. And then of course posterior you get in here, and then you can round it out. So you want to try to find that happy medium where that lower back is flat. And when it's flat, and then from there, it feels like for a lot of people who really get locked out, maybe their hips are just a touch more underneath them, and then from there you can turn and you can really extend. If you follow my stuff, I'm all about the extension, right? Letting the right leg extend up, letting the spine extend. Those are all good things in the golf swing to lengthen it out, create more power, more time on the downswing to square some things up. So I thought you might enjoy that there. George is going to be on the Stripe Show podcast here in the next 2 weeks. We're going to get deeper into that stuff, his stuff that he likes to work on with his players, and really do a deep dive from an instructional standpoint on that, so you're not going to want to miss it. All right, moving on. Number 2 here, Padraig Harrington. Right, I love this guy. Padraig actually worked with Gigi there for a little bit on how to rotate and get more open at impact. Padraig's a tinker, great player over the year. He's 48 years old now, 15 European Tour wins, 6 PGA Tour wins, and 3 major championships. He's been posting some great stuff. I want you to check this out on the head, how the head turns going back and how the head turns coming through. Here you go.
See, and if you watch a lot of the players now, probably the best one is Jack Nicklaus. Go back to videos of him and you will see their head moves in the backswing. You can see I've turned my head. That's to take the pressure off. If I try to keep it here, I'm going to lock my neck up. I'm going to get injured actually. So it's moved nicely. I can still see the golf ball, and it's a good idea to keep an eye on the golf ball, but my head is nice and relaxed in this position. Then as I start the downswing, my knees and my chest go down, so my head also goes down a little bit into the golf ball. Now from here, you will see my head will back up and come back up and backwards, just like so. Now, you will also see I'm looking at the golf ball, but I've actually released my head somewhat.
So head still would work if you didn't turn. Right? If I just was swinging my arms back, then I would say keep your head still. But because you're turning, your spine is changing and your head, it needs to go with it a little bit. So I like that little Jack Nicklaus turn to the right so you can make a better shoulder turn going back. And then I love just letting the head turn and swivel as you're opening up. Letting your head rotate a bit earlier will really encourage more rotation through the strike. I thought that was really good stuff. Again, if you watch my stuff, I'm talking about the head, how the head is turning, how the head is moving in the golf swing all the time. If you don't turn, keep your head still. If you're gonna turn, well, you gotta have some head movement. Moving on here, number 3, Arron Oberholser, played the PGA Tour for a long time. He actually won twice on the Korn Ferry Tour, once on the PGA Tour. You probably recognize him from the Golf Channel. Great analyst, great guy. He's been posting some stuff, and you know what, Arron? He's coming on the Stripe Show podcast this week. We're going to catch up on some instructional things, some things that have been said out there from someone that he works with, his colleague Randall Chambly, but also kind of a look back to the first quarter of the year and what's going on with some of these tour players that are struggling, like Dustin Johnson, like Brooks Koepka, like Justin Rose. You're not going to want to miss that. But he had some things to offer here on external rotation in the backswing. Check it out.
Here's another one for you guys to kind of help stretch that area out so that you can lay the club down in transition and rotate. Take the club, any club, probably a short iron would work best. Put the arm, let the club dangle in your trail arm and your trail hand. Put the trail arm up parallel to the ground just like this. Take the club, rotate it back so that the shaft bisects the bicep. Grab with your lead hand in your golf swing the handle of the club and rotate. Now, this is what it's going to look like when you go down the line and rotate it back just like this. This will help stretch out that rotator cuff. And then try to get into position, golf posture, take it back, and then as you rotate, slowly pull that handle so that you get the feeling of laying that club kind of down in transition.
All right, so that's some good stuff there. External rotation in that shoulder. You guys hear me talking about that a lot, and then how to curl that lead hand with it. If you can do those two things, man, that is a big deal for most amateur players in getting the club set in a better position at the top, but in particularly coming down. Now, I have a program, moving on here to number 4. It's called Operation Baby Draw. Of all my programs to this point, Operation Baby Draw, V Total Driving, Stroke Scan Short Game, Home Edition. They've all done great, and I appreciate it, everybody that has got those. Operation Baby Draw has had probably the biggest impact and has warranted the most feedback to this point because it has changed the scope and the probability of impacts for those that are doing it. If you struggle with an open face, steepness in the swing, okay, lots of pulls, weak fades, Operation Baby Draw is for you. All right. It's for probably 85% of the golf population. That's why I created it, is to learn how to hit that little draw. If you can do that, well, you get the club face more square, maybe a little closed. You learn how to shallow out. You learn how to get into better impact dynamics. You learn how to hit that little push draw. And for most of you, that's what you need to learn how to hit. Not everybody, right? But for most. Now, there's 2 videos in Operation Baby Draw that I hear the most about. Club face angle, okay, how to control the club face, and particularly going back, that's number 1. Number 2 is the one coming down with the drill where I set that stick just to the inside. Now, I took this drill, just did a big thing for Golf Digest. That is out. Go to their site, check it out, golfdigest.com. And it's called From Couch to Course. And this drill is a big part of that. Now, number 4 here is a drill from Operation Baby Draw. All right, some discovery here. What are you feeling to get the club to match up to this? I like 2 little feelings here. One is this right elbow. I'm gonna go back to this elbow. If I put my arm up like this and I let my right elbow kick in, call that external rotation in the shoulder there. The other way, elbow out, that'd be internal. Right elbow working in, not down, in, okay? Left hand, again, curling, flattening out, not cupped, not pulling down. Got to get that cup out at some point. So I get to the top, and then I let my elbow start to pinch. Look, my right elbow pinches in. My left wrist is curling. It's towards you, the camera. As I do that, watch the shaft. It starts to lay down and match up. All right, moving on, number 5, let's talk about some short game. And I gotta tell you, of all the videos that are coming out from players, the one guy that I am enjoying the most is Luke Donald, because Luke Donald, his short game is insane. I mean, he has one of the best short games probably of all time. Luke Donald's 42 years old now. Good grief. I mean, I'm 42. Luke Donald's 42. He was a former world #1 player. 7 times he won on the European Tour, 5 on the PGA Tour. You know, he's one of those players that probably has been gobbled up here a little bit with the distance era. Not a great driver of the golf ball, not real long, not real accurate, but around the greens, this guy is insanely good. Watch this video on putting with this putting board. This is great stuff on the lie and the loft of the putter in the stroke.
This side, if you look at it, this is going to show you that maintaining loft, if you match up to the shaft, match up to these lines, you're maintaining the correct loft. Obviously, if I was to de-loft it, you can see that they don't match up. If I was to add loft, again, same thing on the way through. So maintaining the line. So I have about 71 degrees on here. When my arms are hanging directly below, when I swing and maintain the line, notice the putter face, the path swings slightly in to in, and that's what I like, to have a very neutral path.
Luke Donald has worked with Pat Goss forever, and you know, those two have done a terrific job with Luke's short game. And if you ever get a chance to watch Luke putt or chip and pitch around the greens at a PGA Tour event, make sure that you do that. Now, moving on, number 6 here, strokes gained short game, right? I launched that probably like almost 3 weeks ago now. And the special that I'm doing, just so you know, you purchase strokes gained short game and you receive a voucher for Home Edition. Now, Home Edition are 10 videos that you can do at home. It's full swing and short game, as well as some putting. Strokes gained short game, you can do at home as well, and then learn those techniques and then take them out to the golf course. So it's 20 videos in all. It's a good deal. You should check it out. But in strokes gained short game, I talk about some putting in the last 2 videos, and I talk about these wrist angles. And you saw with Luke there towards the end how his left hand was on there and it was almost a little bit unhinged, so his right arm could come down in from the side. This dynamic, right, of getting this wrist more this way and this elbow in from here versus like this is a huge deal for so many in putting, and Luke does it perfectly. So for number 7 here, we're going into strokes gained short game, and here's a snippet on how to get all of this arranged in your putting setup. And there's my right forearm matched up. When I do that, my wrists feel a little bit unhinged this way, and they don't feel hinged down where my elbows go out. Feel more unhinged where my elbows can tuck in like this. And now my forearms match up. I can bow forward from the hips, aim the putter face, and then build my stance from there where my eyes are relatively over the ball or just inside the ball. So take your time with those forearms. That's a big one. Number 7, going back to Luke Donald. Anytime he's talking about the short game, you have to pay attention. He is brilliant around and on the greens. This time he talks about chipping into the grain. This is great stuff. Check this out.
One, make sure that I'm really sliding the toe on the ground. A lot more bounce, a lot more slide on the toe. It's the heel that digs a little bit more on the toe. Elevate that shaft, get a little bit more vertical, more position a little bit forward. Just feel like you're rocking your shoulders. Really slide that toe along the grass. That should really help with the strike. Right side a little bit high again. Remember that one.
All right, number 8. Come on, I got to go to my guy here. CPG Club Pro guy, always issuing great advice. And this time on the quick rate, right? Staying with this putting theme, how to perfect the quick rate here through this quarantine. My man, CPG, take it away.
We've got 4 weights in succession lined up, and what we're trying to do is mimic the motion of a quick rake, like so. So, like I said, the most important thing is leg strength, and that's exactly what this does. So start here, we're gonna reach, pick up a weight, and down. A little bit further, reach, pick up a weight. I'm quick raking, and down. A little bit further, we're getting advanced. Reach, pick up a weight, put down. Finally, for those that are really advanced, reach, pick up a rake, put down. That's like an 8-foot quick rake right there. You get the idea, and I can really feel the burn in my leg. So I want you to go up the ladder, back down the ladder 3 times, twice a week, and I guarantee you'll be the best quick raker in your club.
Finally, here on the scorecard this week, presented by Encore Golf. Check these out, these golf balls. Fantastic direct-to-consumer. I love the Elixir. That's the ball that I play. I've got my logo balls too as well. You can swipe up if you want to get some of those golf balls with my logo on it. That way they'll always go straight and you'll never lose them. Now, April 30th, I said it earlier, we all got to be quarantined and social distancing. So for the month of April, I am reaching out to my friends in the industry, all of the best golf instructors that are out there, and I'm going to be bringing you one drill from them on this platform every single day starting April 1st. So don't miss that. Don't miss the Stripe Show podcast. Season 2 starts this week. Arron Oberholser with the Golf Channel and George Gankis, one of the top teachers in the game. A great lineup coming. I'll be back next week right here from the Man Cave for another edition of the Scorecard presented by Encore Golf. See you next week.